All right. Well, a wise man once told me everything is content. Maybe that wise man be watching this. I wasn't going to show this because I don't think everybody's going to find it interesting. But I need to get this car apart because I have two more cars after I need to take apart, and I need to get this one out of the way so I can get some more pallet racking up in here to get rid of this pile of crap on my floor so I can have more room to do more stuff like this. Does that make sense to you? I need to take this apart so I can get, but I need this empty spot so I can shift stuff around so I can put pallet racking up, basically. And well, this has to come apart regardless. So this is a 1992 Mustang LX 5.0 5-speed convertible, and it is a summer edition. So it's got the like monochrome red paint with the white and black interior. And it's actually not a bad car. It's actually pretty dang solid. It's not perfect, but you know, it had some like surface rust that someone painted over in a couple spots. But it looks like a pretty original car. I'm sure you can tell by the way it's sitting. It's missing its engine, of course. So this car, picked it up for parts. Best I can tell, it was last registered about 20 years ago. And I think a couple owners ago, you see where I'm going with this. Well, somebody lost the title, and we don't know who it was last registered to. And Illinois sucks for getting titles on later model vehicles. Like, if this was a little bit older, I can get a title through like Maine or something a little easier. But I thought about it. I thought about trying to get title, putting a motor in it, and selling it, and I'm like, you know what? It just makes more sense to do it this way. I've said it before. This is a necessary evil of the automotive hobby. You can't have a bunch of project cars sitting around waiting to get done. Just sitting around waiting to get done. You have to have donor cars. You have to have parts cars. It's a thing. Like, this car will potentially help get 4 or 5 other cars back on the road, and you know, letting their owners enjoy them. So, figure I'll walk around it with you and show you what I feel is worth taking and what I want to deal with. And I'll tell you right now, the rest of the car is not going to go to waste. There is another YouTuber. He's got a little bit bigger channel than I do. He's going to take the chassis with basically almost a rolling chassis. I'm taking the rear end, and I'll tell you why. But it'll be pretty much the bare chassis, the floors, the rear quarters, core support, strut towers, that kind of stuff. And he's buying the trunk lid and the wing off of me. So he told me to leave those on there. But I'm basically giving him the rest of the carcass so he can use it to fix other vehicles. Again, helping get other cars back on the road. That's what it's all about. That's why you do these things. So years ago, God, I feel so old. But like, I'm talking like 21, 22 years ago now. Oh, I feel so old. Actually, probably longer than that. Probably 20, 24 years now. See, I used to just park these cars out. That's all I did for most of my income. I would part out wrecked and rotted Fox body Mustangs. So I know where all the hardware is on these and what size they are, and it's yeah. Oh, that's good or bad? Is it good? Actually, I don't know if some of you are familiar with Mustang Parts Warehouse. It's Encore MPW, I think he calls himself. I used to deal with him a lot. Like we used to talk a lot, and before he started his business, we used to trade a lot of stuff back and forth because we both did the same thing. We kind of just lost touch with each other after he started his business. I'm sure there's more to it, but now it's not the time or place. But give you a walk around, show you what I want to deal with taking out of this and what I don't, and what's worth money, because maybe it can help some of you decide if it's worth parting the car out or fixing it, or yada yada yada. So let's talk about market value. Well, a good way to get market value is look up eBay and look on sold listings. That's really important. Look at sold listings. Don't look at what people are asking for stuff, because people can ask whatever they want, and some people don't mind sitting on stuff because they're waiting for that one person that absolutely has to have that part and they need it that day. Ignore those listings. You want to look at the sold listings. That's where you get your price info from. So starting with the interior, it's got a nice leather steering wheel, leather wrapped steering wheel. Unfortunately, cannot sell airbags on eBay. It's you have to be certified to be able to sell them. So someone like me, unfortunately, cannot do that. You can get away with selling them on Marketplace, but definitely not eBay. It's a cruise steering wheel, which is nice, but actually if it did not have cruise, it'd be worth more money. I'd have to double check pricing on that, but I believe I should be able to get 150 out of the steering wheel. Gauge cluster, 140 mile per hour gauge cluster. So this cluster is a direct swap for 1990 through 93. I believe it'll fit 87, 89, but there's a little bit of difference up over here. So the cluster, 250, 275 would be a realistic number on it. I've seen them go for more. I've seen people ask more, but I mean, I want to sell the stuff, so 250, 275 be a realistic number. So the 89 clusters, so this car's a 92. The 89 clusters are worth a little bit more. They're easier to sell. The reason being is, so 89 was the only year you can get the 140 cluster from it came standard in 89. So 87 and 88 had the 85 mile per hour cluster. Well, the 89 cluster is a direct swap into the 87 and 88 cars. So there's more of a demand for that 89 cluster. And I've heard some late 88s still had them, but I'm not in a position to confirm that right now. So, and the elephant in the room, black dashboard. That's probably the most desirable part in this car. Is this black dashboard assembly, and it's actually in pretty good shape. I didn't really see anything really wrong with it. Like, if you look at the center console, these ashtray doors always break. They're just notorious for breaking. These always break, but this one's actually in good shape. Look, it still works. It's insane. It still actually works. So between the dashboard and the center console, I'm not exaggerating. On eBay, that's like $1,500 for the dashboard and the center console because they're black, and they'll bolt right into 87 and 93. Or if you want to do a interior model year upgrade to your 79 to 86, that's good for that too. Black convertible sun visors, realistically 150 a pair with the brackets. Seats are specific to the summer edition cars. They're white leather with the black piping. Unfortunately, this one does need to be recovered, but they are good cores. They're not all, twisted and mangled and loose. So probably a couple $100 on the seats. I didn't check to see if it's got power seat track. Oh, it does have a power seat. So the power seat track is actually probably $200-300 by itself. That's a good piece, as long as it works. I'll have to test it. Door panels, again, specific to the summer edition cars. They're actually in pretty good shape. They'll clean up pretty good. This elastic in here is actually pretty easy to fix. So it's not really a huge issue. But I can see getting $500 to $600 out of this pair of door panels fairly easily on eBay. Looks like it's got an aftermarket shifter in it. Again, it says missing the engine, not the trans. It's got a T5. You can sell a T5 as a complete swap, like if you want to convert your automatic car over to manual. And they're getting around like $2,500 now for a complete T5 swap. And even I have a hard time wrapping my head around that, but that's what they're selling for. So you do the math. But that would be transmission, bell housing, shifter, pedal assembly, basically the engine or transmission harness, all the associated parts to swap over to a T5. You'll end up with about $2,500 as long as the trans is in good shape. I believe this one is actually. The guy was driving the car. I'll take a better look at it when I get it out. It's got a Cobra clutch assembly with it. It actually looks to be in pretty good shape. Some people don't like using used clutches, but I mean, as long as they're serviceable, like they're not destroyed, you shouldn't have an issue. Oh, where else are we in here? Oh, the rear interior panels. Again, those are pretty good pieces, probably $500-600 a pair. The rear seat will clean up. The white leather, that's probably $150-200 bucks. The right person. Depending if the carpet will clean up, factory black carpet. If it's in good shape, again, might be a couple $100 if somebody looking to put factory carpet back in their car and they don't want to deal with the aftermarket stuff. The aftermarket stuff isn't the same. I think I've got the interior pretty much covered. ECM should be behind this kick panel. So the ones in the 87, 88 cars aren't worth that much. 89, like I think 90 are worth the most. Pretty much anything 89 and 93 in a 5.0 car is worth saving and worth selling. I get anywhere from $300 to $500 each just for the ECM. It depends on if they still have the factory sticker on them, they're never open, how clean they are, etc., etc. Like $300 to $500 easy all day long on the ECM. Outside, again, a summer edition car, so having factory painted summer edition like trim parts is actually a good thing. They all look to be in pretty decent shape, so I'll spend the time getting all those off. The paint will actually buff out, so there's a few $100 there in trim parts for sure, like all around the windshield and everything. So if you're fixing a summer edition car with this color and you want to keep it original, then here you go. Again, the same for the cowl panel. Easy $100, maybe $150. Door mirrors, again, specific to this car because of the color. 150 a pair. I'm guessing they're not the hardest thing to find. Doors are both in good shape. A couple $100 each. They're not the hardest thing to find. Not a huge demand for the doors, but there is a demand, and they are in good shape. So probably $200 a piece, I'm guessing. Trunk lid and spoiler, I think I told them like $250 for both. That's actually a pretty good price. Good solid trunk lids are probably $2.5 by themselves. That's the summer edition or special edition convertible spoiler. It's actually factory, probably $1.50 is the normal going rate on that. Nice LX tails. I don't see any cracks in them. Probably $200 for those. I'll have to look over the bumper cover a little better, but it looks to be in pretty good shape. That's probably $150. Top assembly. It is worth taking if you want to deal with selling it. On the fence whether I'm going to take it or not, but on the low end, you probably get $400 or $500 for it, as long as none of the bracing or anything is broken. I've seen them sell for over $1,000. Just kind of depends on who's selling it and whether or not you're willing to ship it. Front fenders, I believe both are in good shape. Probably $100 a piece, maybe a little more. Hood, again, good straight hood, probably 100, 150. Front bumper cover. It's not perfect, but it's not bad either. A couple hundred on that. Headlights will clean up in the original Ford 6-piece headlights. $150 to $200, I believe, for a whole set used. It's got the white ponies. They're actually in pretty good shape. I'm guessing $300 to $400 for a set of those. So the rear end I'm keeping, but they do have value. It's a 88 drum brake, 4-lug posi. Those rear ends are selling for $500 to $600 now. It's got, I believe, Flowmaster catback on it. Looks to be in good shape. Probably another couple $100 on that. Love aftermarket parts in these cars. Let's see if I could get over here to open this hood. Give me a second here. This car doesn't have a lot for aftermarket. I tell you what it does have. I'm going to use. See, I'm going to use the rear axle in that my LTD police car. Because I'd like to put a 347 I have in that. Oh, that's not even bolted down. Give me a minute. All right, under the hood, here's the T5 chilling there. It's missing the block plate, but I do have some extra ones. It does have some aftermarket Hotchkiss struts in it with the caster camber brackets. I believe it's got aftermarket springs in it too. Those do have some value. Could tell you how much offhand. Probably, a couple $100 for the set. But I'm going to keep all that for the LTD, I believe. I don't know if I'm going to keep the front brakes, because if I swap over to the 87 to 93 front brakes, I can't run the original 14-inch wheels on the LTD, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. But if I can use these struts, I believe, on the older spindles, but I believe you need to run a spacer, because I think where the strut mounts to the spindle, it's like a narrower. Still has the engine harness in it, and I was looking at it, it looks to be in pretty good shape. These engine harnesses, as long as the plugs are mostly intact, they're like $400 or $500 now. So that's I was pretty happy to see that still in here, especially since it's a mass air car. So like this is the plug for the mass air sensor. So since it's a mass air car, it's going to have a more desirable harness, because 86 to 88 cars were all speed density, except for I think the 88 California cars had mass air. Could be wrong on that. It's been a while. But so if you want to convert your 86 to 88 car, or if you're doing a 4-cylinder conversion, you want the mass air harness. It's more tunable. I think pretty much covered everything that I'm gonna take off of it. And there's other stuff that's worth money, obviously. It's just, is it worth the time? Is it worth the effort? Like a lot of little like sensors and stuff and switches, and there's a lot of that stuff out there. You gotta remember, these cars had a base model that had pretty much all the same parts. Like all the little parts were all pretty much the same. So there's gonna be a lot of those parts out there available. Trying to think what else off the top of my head. See, this guy took the motor out to put in his Ford Ranger. Oh, hey, more power to them, whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. Having a extremely hard time getting motivated today. Only had about 3 hours of sleep. Found out yesterday that one of my really good friends took his own life. He hung himself, and had a real hard time sleeping last night. Only got like 3 hours of sleep, and having a real hard time getting motivated to do this. And this whole past year, I mean, this marks probably, I believe it's like the 5th or 6th person that's fairly, close to me in my like circle that lost her life this year. And it's been a pretty taxing year on my emotions and my mental state, I guess. So it's hard to stay motivated to work on things sometimes. But life must go on, right? Is that what that saying is? Or life finds a way? I don't know what that lizard guy say. I don't remember now. But yeah, I'm gonna try to set you guys up to do a time lapse, and I'll see how that works out. And yeah, let's see what I get done today. All right, well, it's one day and one haircut later. Let's see what I can get accomplished today. I don't think I'm going to save the steering column. I will save the pedal assembly though, of course, because that's going to go with the trans swap. And the steering wheel, I can't sell the airbag. I can't list it on eBay. I can't list it on Marketplace. You can list it on Marketplace, you just can't say what it is. Oh, yeah, I still got to pull the steering wheel, the pedal assembly, the dash harness, probably the top assembly. The top assembly sell pretty good in these. Like I said, as long as they're not all broken. I think that'd be it for the interior portion. So leaving the trunk lid and spoiler on for the guy who's taking the chassis. I gotta pull the taillights off, bumper cover. Oh, front fenders, nose, cowl panel, engine harness, ECM. And then that'll leave me with wheels, tires, rear axle, suspension. Today's goal is to get everything, all the body related stuff off. The doors, everything I mentioned in here, on the back and front, and harness and all that. That's my goal today. So I'm gonna get to work and put on some Kill Tony and put you guys back in the time lapse for a bit. So we'll see in a bit. And lunchtime. I think I got a fair amount done before lunch. What do you think? And the front end's off. A little bit of rust in the passenger fender. Driver fender's pretty good shape. Actually, they're both in good shape. It just, there's like a little bit of surface rust in the dog leg of the passenger side. They still have the VIN stickers on them, so they are the original fenders. I don't think they get a little bit of surface rust inside the drivers. Oh, they're still sellable. Someone will buy them. I was forced to take the front end off in one piece because the hardware was not cooperating where it connects for the fender to the header panel. It's just something that happens with these. It just is. Just mostly age. Header panel and front bumper cover look to be in great shape. Little crack in the bumper cover. Got somebody that's interested in these. They were waiting for me to get them off and get them better pictures. He lives like 20 minutes from here. I don't know why he just didn't come look, but whatever. Yeah, it's lunchtime, so I'm gonna eat lunch. So that's what people do when it's lunchtime. When I get back, I'm gonna pull the cowl trim panel, probably pop the doors off, and then move to the back and get the taillights and rear bumper cover off. And as long as I get that done today, I'll be good. And then tomorrow I can finish up and do rear axle, transmission, exhaust, and front struts. But if I have time today, I'll get one or two of those items done. So we'll see. Well, taking one of these cars apart is completely doable by yourself. Just takes a little more time. Well, and that's time for today. I might have a few minutes to pack the two things I need to pack, but that's about it. I think it went pretty well. I struggled with this window because I forgot how to take them out. And once I figured out how to take it out, it was like, durr. But literally 45 minutes on this window and 5 minutes on that window. So yeah, I was pretty frustrated. Once I figured it out, it just all kind of made sense. I still gotta get these pieces of trim off. I damaged the one a little bit, but it's still usable. Damage of trying to get this window out is my own stupid fault. Top's out. So the trim, rear axle, rear wheels, tires, taillights, bumper cover, exhaust, and transmission. The transmission's already kind of out. It's just laying there. I just need to like raise the car and get it out. But other than that, almost there. So, a few more hours tomorrow and I'll be done. All right, today's the day that I try and get this car finished. It is Friday, October the 4th, and it's kind of a crap day for me. So I am exactly where I need to be to keep my mind off of things. Taking apart a car, it's just, what else can I ask for? It's a 5-year anniversary of when I lost my wife. So yeah, but I'm doing pretty good this year actually, which is good because the amount of deaths I've had to deal with this year. If I was doing how I was last year with everything, it wouldn't be good. I'm just telling you right now. So actually doing pretty good with it this year. So yeah. Anywho, the front end's pretty much done. I am gonna keep the strut mounts and the struts. They are adjustable conies. I'm gonna keep those for that LTD police car. I'm leaving them on here for now just to make it easier to move the car, because if I take them off then you can't put wheels on it and roll it. Oh, he is going to bring me back the struts and the strut mounts. Working my way back to you. Yeah, no, I gotta pick up all my tools. I might do that right now just so I have a better idea where everything is right now. Got the top off yesterday. Got these windows out. Once I figured out how the windows came out, they were pretty easy. This one I struggled with for like 45 minutes. It was ridiculous. And then it dawned on me how the window was held in and it came right out. And that one was like literally 5 minutes. Again, leaving the trunk lid and the spoiler on for him. He's buying those off of me. I'm going to try to get these guys off right now after I clean up my tools. And show you this little tidbit. That's a A9L computer. That's actually a really good one. It's weird. It's a 92 and it's got A9L in it. I usually had something else. Yeah, A9L. Check that out. It's got a Jet performance chip in it. It's crazy. You're going to see one of those in a while. Actually, that Cobra I just took apart a couple months ago had one of these in it. So it's kind of funny. 2 cars in a row. So I'm going to get all these tools cleaned up and probably try and pull this trim off. So I get all that taken care of, and then I'll move the car forward so I can do the taillights, the rear bumper cover, the rear axle, the exhaust, and the transmission. Transmission's already out, I believe. It's just I need to raise the car pretty much to get it out. I think the cross member's out. I think the exhaust is holding it up. I don't know. I'll figure that out in a little bit here. I'll put you guys back on time lapse and we'll see you in a bit. Oh, I found this on a vacuum line. Anybody know what the heck it is? I was like, I could look it up, but wepi.com, wepi.com. It's like a magnet, like 2 halves. And it was literally on a vacuum line, so I'm not sure what the heck that is. If anybody knows, let me know.
Calico here?
Crow's head? Cruising. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, farmer's market. That's the 6th.
So Sunday. Oh, maybe.
5th and 6th.
Yeah, check it out.
And
Saturday, October 19th. I'm going to try to go to that. Oh, alright, well. This car is a wrap. Is that what the kids say these days? I don't know. It's done. Tie a ribbon on it. I know, trunk lid and spoiler. Those are going to you're not gonna say who they're going to. But it could be like that. And I still gotta save the struts and the strut mounts. These are actually Ford Motorsport struts. I found out taking everything apart. They got Ford part numbers on them, so that's pretty cool. He's gonna bring a couple wheels and tires, throw on the front, make it easier to move, and just give me back the struts and strut mounts. I trust him. And discovered something in this car which makes me feel a lot less bad about taking it apart. This thing had some pretty bad rust that it was hiding. It was and not easy to fix rust either. This is all inside that A-pillar and door pillar, and yeah, this rust is not, it's not easy to fix in that spot. So I feel less bad about taking it apart. There's a little bit of rust down there. show you something else we discovered. It's kind of funny. After I show you this other side, I'll show you that I'm not making this up. Yeah, it is just gone, all eaten out. All that. Yeah, that's not an easy place to fix rust at all. Like, that's probably about one of the worst places you could have rust on a car, because there's just multiple layers of metal there, and it would take you so much work to fix. It's a shame that the front frame rails are totally fine. So are the rears. It's got aftermarket lower control arms on it, which I was going to save, but those bushings are just completely gone. Like, they are just destroyed. So makes no sense saving those. But the car does have good quarters on it. A little bit of surface rust, but they're good quarters. Good frame rails, everything, taillight panel. There's a YouTuber that's been rebuilding these Mustang convertibles for a little while now. Probably the past year. He's probably on his third one now. So I reached out to him, and he actually wants to buy the trunk lid and spoiler off me. I told him I'm giving the rest of the car to the scrap guy, so if he just wants to take the scrap guy's place, he's more than welcome to it. So he's gonna come grab the rest of it. Aftermarket headed H-pipe. I was gonna give it to the scrap guy, but notice that these are just slip fit right here, so it's technically still savable. Had full master catback on it, which is still in decent shape. It's not perfect, but it's there. It's usable. It's got some value there. I didn't check to see if it's got a gear in the rear end or not. It does not have tag on the rear end. The tag's gone, which means that this rear end was a part before, so it might have a gear in it. Who knows? I'll find out later. I did save, like I said, all the Ford Motorsport Coney struts that were on it. All that's going to go on the LTD police car, I hope, along with the rear axle. Anywho, good core support. Yeah, he's gonna like this. He's gonna be able to use a lot of good parts off this thing for fixing the wrecked ones. I was gonna show this car in a separate video, but decided that the video would have been too short and didn't really make much sense, but picked up another convertible. This one's a 70 XL 500 convertible versus the yellow one was 69. This one's actually in a little bit worse shape. You see, it's got rust in the quarters, it's got Bondo in it. I think this fender is still good, and that door is still good. The rest of the body's pretty bad. Like, that fender's savable, but not really, because it's got a bunch of filler in it, and the filler's pretty thick over here. I mean, look at this. That's pretty bad. So if you can see that there, you can imagine what the rest of it looks like. Trunk lid's still good. Hood's salvageable. Bumpers are good. See where I'm going with this? It's a parts car. It's strictly a parts car. It came out of a storage locker where it sat for 20 years. Who knows where the title is. Again, it's got some rust up in here, but the floors are actually solid, and so is the trunk floor. And to find one of these cars with good trunk floors is absolutely unreal. So I actually have like 3 or 4 people asking me to sell them the trunk floor, so it's also kind of cool. It's a power window and power lock car. That's really rare, so there's some good value there in parts. Actually, there's some really good parts on this car. It's an AC car, 351 Windsor. Oh, it's a 70 351 Windsor. It's got power disc brakes in the front. Does not have a 9-inch. Let's do this 2 hands maybe. There we go. Engine's all complete, stock. You know, it's 1970 351 Windsor. It's got AC, power steering, power brakes. Again, lots of good options. There's some decent value here, parting it out. I don't think it's really worth saving in my eyes. Like I said, it's going to cost you a little bit of time and money to get a title, and it's going to be like hell trying to source quarters for this thing. But again, it does have solid floors. solid trunk. I did have it running. Like I said, I was going to do a separate video, so maybe I'll insert that clip here. And it's this isn't working. Let's try that. One right in reverse, one right and forward, and the brakes even held. And there you go, it runs. But yeah, it'll be probably about a week or so before I can get to this thing, because like I said earlier, I'm buying a bunch of pallet racking off the neighbor next door. They're moving out, and that's the reason I lit a fire under my ASS for this, because I'm gonna have to move like pretty much all this stuff over here so I can set pallet racking up down the center here, so I can get all this stuff off the floor, so I can clear up some floor space and just make some workable room in here again, so I can actually get back to working on some vehicles. Because even though I have 2 lifts at home, I actually like working on cars here more. It's weird, huh? So that's that. One more thing, I want everybody's opinion. So I went to this sidewalk sale, it's like a tent sale last week. The company that makes these Montezuma toolboxes, I got like, I think 6 Montezumas, 2 DeWalts. I got this Montezuma tool cart, this Montezuma mechanics cart. Got all kinds of cool stuff. Actually, like insanely good deals, like crazy good deals. You wouldn't believe how cheap some of this stuff was. But I have an idea. I'd like to do a giveaway with at least this this tool cart. It's pretty cool. It's a mobile 3-tier revolving tool cart. Pretty nice. They retail for like $800 or $900. Brand new in the box. Like, this is actually, I can deal with shipping this. Like, it can go through like UPS freight or speedy delivery or something. I thought about doing mechanics cart. It's like a $2,600 mechanics cart. Pretty nice, actually. I thought about doing that, but maybe just start with this, or maybe start with something smaller that's easier to ship. But I just wanted your guys' opinion, because I like to give stuff away. It's not like, I don't want to grow the channel based on giveaways, basically. I want to grow the channel based on you guys actually wanting to watch me. And I admit I haven't been too interesting lately, because I've had a lot of crap I've been dealing with. A lot of crap at home. And I'm trying to get away from that. I'm trying to get back to working on stuff. But let me know what your thoughts are on that. Said if I do something, it probably would be that revolving tool cart. Or something smaller. Maybe I could start with like a impact set or something. We'll see. But I'd like to do that. I just want to get everybody's input on it. Like I said, I don't want to grow a channel based on giving stuff away. That's not me. I just have a big heart. I like giving stuff to my friends. I like to help people out. Oh, that's just who I am. So ask Dalton at Pole Barn Garage how much crap I keep sending him. He's probably getting sick of it, but he's a good guy. I like his videos, so that's why I keep sending him stuff. Anyways, there we go. So tomorrow is Morris Lions Club swap meet car show. Well, I go for a swap meet in Morris, Illinois. So tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm gonna go check that out, and I'll be there all weekend. And hopefully this video will be out by the end of the weekend and give you guys something to watch. So let me know what you thought about doing the time lapse on taking this thing apart. I tried making the disassembly of a car interesting, and hopefully I did an okay job of it. Yeah, I know I need to get a bigger shirt. Yep, I know. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.